I literally press record and upload. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and waste my time making cuts. I'm here to show you my raw process of what I do in terms of algo trading, quant trading, coding, whatever you want to call it. Um, let's say developing. So, in terms of my developing process for strategies or um, optimizations, and from there, how I save my strategies and my entire process. I'm just gonna show you guys the raw footage. Like, I'm not making any cuts. I'm lazy. I don't care to make this fancy. Like, I'm not trying to applique to the audience that has a TikTok brain and needs that dopamine hit. That's not the audience I want to applique to, right? I need an army of quants. I need a community. Okay, I can't be solo at this no more. Ain't no more solo Devin, right? I need my army. Anyways, I'm gonna go over this process of um, basically how I'm gonna format my movies, my fucking videos. So where is it? Productivity app. I'm gonna open this up. It's like a little checklist or whatever. It has timers on it and shit. We're gonna run this in a new window. If this audio is shit, I'm still gonna upload it and just have to figure something out with this mic. I'm not sure. The last one, it was decent. You could barely hear me. Like, I don't know. It was garbage. Um, yeah. Terminal. Open up. Um, base environment. Beautiful. On the run. I think it's like this. And then we do um, ATC. No, it's not Conda run. It's Conda activate. Um, ATC. There we go. And then we do the Python version. Just to double check our Python version 3.12. And for this window, let's discard this. Now, grab that file path. So I'm gonna show you. I want to show you guys this as well. It's pretty useful. Python, and then we can minimize this. Open the real one. So where we're gonna do our work in. This is our timer thing, whatever. It doesn't need to be big. It's not going to take up that much of the screen. It's just for now. Yeah, so what I do is when I create a like a script that I don't want to shuffle through folders to find, like for example, to shuffle through all this just for a script, for example, that's not scripts. Obviously, those are screenshots. But to just flip through a folder like that and find your file path just to run a piece of code is just super annoying. So what I do is I like to save things in .text. What are these called? .text, right? Anyways, they're like little notepads, right? You can just save them on your desktop of like super important things. Like here's some um, file paths that I'm not going to waste my time searching for. So I can just go into a normal terminal, run Python, and then throw this file path in there, and boom, my script is running. It's just super useful tool to have for me, at least. I don't know if anyone else does it like this. There's probably a better way, but like, what do I know? But it's super useful. Back to should be running this. Whoops. Back to the productivity app. Let's just get distractions out the way. So for the productivity app, I know it's super small. I can't zoom in. I gotta keep that in mind. But basically, here's a preset of a list of things that I I do, right? So here's focus block 90 minutes, and then I get a break for 20 minutes. So these are just my work cycles, my average work cycles. This is what I'm used to. But for YouTube, what I'm going to start doing is custom. So I click on this custom tab up here, and I can add in a, I know this is a horrible UI. It looks like shit. I don't care. Again, I'm not here for pretty things. I just need it to work, right? So if you're clowning me on that, I don't give a shit. Back to the topic. I basically add a task in here. So I don't know. It's Algo training, right? I add a task up here, and then we down on the one underneath, we can just add the time. So 30 minutes, and then we click add task, and boom, Algo training 30 minutes. And so I have a list of tasks here, right? And I just add a list of a ton of tasks, whatever. And then we just started, of course, and I have a progress bar, my time left, and then the task that I'm working on. So as the time runs down, the color starts to change to give a sense of urgency. What I do with this is pretty much just throw it in on the side, like I do with my stopwatch. If I don't have a stopwatch, I have one of these running. If I don't have one of these running, I have a stopwatch. Otherwise, like you have to keep track of time manually, and that's a pain in the ass, of course. What am I looking for? Right. So I would just throw this into small like this. You could just barely see the progress bar, the time, and the important task. This is all you need to see. So I would just throw this on the side as I'm working, like down here, right? Boom. And that just keeps you focused and puts the blinders on. So what I'm going to do actually is go through the tasks that I want to go through in this video. So pause, I'll restart this. That works. So the task I want to do in this video, I don't want to just do normal like focus blocks. Simply because I'll be all over the place, as we saw in the last video. So I want to keep it more organized. So let's go through a list of things that I just want to do, right? So I definitely want to play around. Oh, gosh. Play around with the just a simple, let's say play around with simple strats. Let's just say develop simple strategies, and then open open, high, low, close, no volume, data, time, and then what was the note? I wrote this on a sticky note prior because this is something that I really needed to, I really just wanted to play around with, and I'll go over it in a second, but let me just write this down. So price action, time, and risk, so PTR. So the original was, let's just put it down here, PTR, and this is something that I came up with, unless it was already came up with, I don't know or care. So it stands for price, action, time, and risk. These are the three just fundamentals, right? You can't trade without these three things. You can't trade without price action. You can't trade without time. You can't trade without, or you can't properly trade and be profitable without risk management or some type of money management, right? So these are the three fundamentals that I love. These are fundamentals, bro. How did Kobe get good? How did Michael Jordan get good? Fundamentals, fundamentals all the way. There's no need to make anything fancy with indicators. So I came to that realization because I was playing around with indicators a lot, right? So if we go back to all my strategies, everything has an indicator in it. But prior to this, when I was a just normal intraday trader, I didn't play around with indicators, right? All I did was study price action, time, and risk. These were what I loved, right? And if you know anything about ICT concepts, this is pretty much all he covers: price action, time, and risk. There's no indicators, there's no fancy bullshit, there's no news. Of course, avoid FOMC, NFP, and CPI. But other than that, there's no like, no, it's price action, time, risk. And let's add one other thing: we can say manipulation for ICT concepts. Because if we're talking ICT concepts, of course, is manipulation in his mentorships, right? Price gets manipulated. I butchered the spelling. I don't care. Um, so price action, time, and risk. Let's remove this. I just put it there for example. I don't need it to be distracting. Okay. Yeah, PTR, price action, time, risk. That's all I wanted to play around with. So you can see I already had it set up. I already started, but then I was like, I can turn this into a YouTube video. Like literally, my YouTube videos are gonna be just me in my workflow and ranting. If you don't want to hear it, get out of here. Um, so I was playing around with open, high, low, close. I realized I can make a YouTube video, and here we are. Um, I will rerun this strategy or this backtest, if you will, so we can just start from ground one, because I did run this already and I saw the results. But I kind of want to take you guys through my entire brainstorming and just creative process. So we'll do that. But let me finish this list. So develop simple strategies. This is one. If you remember, we were um, I go on tangents, so bear with me. But if you do remember, we were going over the structure of this video. So we're going to go over developing simple strategies. We're going to go over, I need to hurry this up because this is too much time on this. So developing simple strategies. What else can I go over? Improving backtest speed. So to explain this one, let's say AI research bookmark. So basically, I was doing research with AI and figured I can improve my Python script backtest speed, so I can potentially bring the backtest improvements sped up by at least 2 to 4 times, and that's minimum, because it also said one of the potential speed increments, however you want to call it. I'm like a fucking geek. One of the potential speed increments was 60x, so 60 times max. Cool. Improving backtest speed, AI research, bookmark, backtest improvements. Let's put one of these. Sped up by at least 2 to 4 times minimum, 60 times maximum. So this is all I kind of want to go over. I don't want to Because from this will come more, right? So I'll get into this, and then we'll start going on tangents. That's just how the creative process goes. So let's go over that. I have simple strategies, and we'll do this for about an hour. I don't think that's enough time. Develop simple strategies. What goes into developing a simple strategy? All right, let's break this down then. Instead of saying developing simple strategies, we can turn this into a process. So the process of developing a strategy consists of, well, first your rules, right? So what kind of strategy do you have? What are you going to do? When are you going to do it? How are you going to do it, right? What is our strategy? Define it. That's what I'm talking about. So define strategy, or in other terms, we can just say, come up with strategy. We need to actually first, no, play around with price action. We're just gonna say this is too long. Price action, backtest, and we'll do this for 30 minutes. And just play around with it. Boom, get familiar with price action. Then you can say, come up with strategy. So, develop strategy, or strategy development. Or that shouldn't take long either. It's about 30 minutes. Let's go over as well. So strategy development, and then backtest. I want to forward backtest. I want to go through the long backtesting process. So we're gonna say, damn, this could be a long one. We're gonna say 90 minutes, and then after this 90 minutes, the video is gonna be over. But after this video, I'll just go into the next one, and we'll go over more backtest of this strategy, whatever strategy I come up with. Yeah. So backtest for 90 minutes, add task. Because when we backtest, there's going to be periods where I have to wait for the backtest, right? Especially during optimizations and heavy optimizations. This is simple strategy though. So I don't know if we're going to have, that might be actually too much time. It's going to be simple strategy, but that's fine. Price action, backtest. Yep. Strategy development. Yep. Backtest, copy. And then after this, we'll move into the second thing. I don't even know what the second thing was. Yeah, whatever. Start this. We'll jump straight into price action backtest. So why is that 90 minutes? And why did I just close it? Fuck. Please run this. Oh, okay. Dog, what the fuck was that? No. I know we had to play with backtest, so say price action. I can't just play the video back, bro. Price action, because I'm live recording. So price action. Price backtest. Fun price backtest. Whatever. saying 20 because I'm done. um, on price action, price backtest. Just play around with price. Um, strategy, strategy development. I have to recall this shit because I got no notes on this. I just came up with it on the spot. It's taking me a while. Fund price backtest, strategy development, and then the the backtesting, because we have to backtest, right? So backtesting, 60. What did I do? 90, right? 90. And then we'll start this up. Please work. There we go. Awesome. It's not a fucking Facebook app, but it's a fucking app, and guess what? It fucking works. Ask me if I fucking care. Alright, we can throw this down here. We'll actually minimize, just have it in the background for later reference. Referencing later. Grammar? Come on, brother. Um, no AI. I'm trying to stay away from AI. Just so I can improve as a coder, right? I'm not trying to be a lazy coder. Like I need to know my shit. You know what I mean? So I try to stay away as much as possible. But when I'm like really, really in my creative process and my coding inabilities are making it hard for me to put what's in my brain into code, because I don't know how to code, so I can't get everything that I think of onto code how I want it to and get it to work. But a lot of times I come up with the idea when I'm brainstorming, and I would just go into here and I would just have this be my agent, because that's what you got to do. That's what AI is for, right? This is my agent. I use this when I cannot be capable of coding what I need to code. But most times I will code shit out myself because it's fun, right? I love this. I love this. I do this because it's fun. I don't do it for the money. Of course, that is a byproduct of what I'm here for, right? And of course, that caught my eye in the beginning. But I really learned to fall in love with the process. Like, I'm here forever. I'm not like this, it's this or nothing. And I said the same thing with trading until I found out about algo trading. This is the same thing, right? This is the same thing as trading, but a million times better. Because guess what? You can create 10, 20, 100 bots of any idea that comes into your head, test it, and then you'll come out with like a shit ton of strategies that you can run live every second of every hour of every single day. Can you manually do that? No, you can't. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, bro. And that's why you're here. So let's do this thing. Anyways, um, open, high, low, close. I just want to play around with it, right? So one thing I do know is that class is obviously how you define your strategy. So this is like just creating a new class, creating a new strategy. You can create as much of these as you want in a script. A script is basically just this entire, like what you see right now, where the words are on the paper. A script is your piece of paper in Python or VSC, whatever. Um, because I know some of you don't know shit about what I'm looking at, and this looks new because I was there. Literally, I was there. Like last month, bro, I was there. I didn't know shit about anything I was looking at. Now I can read it, I can comprehend most of it, and I can, kind of speak it, right? This is just a language. This is all this is. This is the language for computers. And if you understand this language, you understand to put anything you can into technology, which is a huge, huge step. Huge. Um, Clean this up a bit. If we go into, I'm not sure why, there we go. Open editor. I never really use this stuff. Okay. Yeah, so if you look into here, where is it? code for strats. So this is where I keep all my strategies. I think I showed this in the last video. I'm not actually sure. I'm very, very, very on a tangent. We're gonna pause that. I'm gonna finish my tangent. This is where I put my strategies, and basically this is what a class is. It's just your strategy. So create a class with backtesting.py. That's up here. You import this after downloading it. We're inside of the script right now. Okay. Then you throw strategy in here like this, and then you put your variables here. Most times you put your variables here. You put your indicators here. Sorry, your indicators go here on definite. You pass self, so you can use self. Self is basically just being able to access the data back and forth. From my understanding, self is just being able to take the data from here and use it in here, and then the data from here and use it in here, and then vice versa anywhere else on this piece of script, a piece of paper. I was gonna say piece of paper, bro, on the script. So that's how I understand self. I could be wrong. I don't care. If I am wrong, please do correct me in the comments. I'm here to learn, right? Never stop learning. I'm not claiming to be the best. But yeah, so I got all these strategies. I can always refer back to these and use them as Lego pieces. And I always pretty much use the same data import because my data is weird. So this is my data import func. And then this is func is short for function. Another part of the data import. So if name equals main, I don't know what that means. That's probably the one thing I need to read on. File path. So these are the two things I only three things I only really change is my file path to my data, and then the start date and the end date of the data I want to access. So this 1 hour CSV probably has from 2016 all the way to 2025, or this is updated to March of like the 5th, I think, of this year, because that's when I got the data. So boom. And then cash, I never really changed. Commission, I never change. I think this is a lot of commission. I don't recall. If I want to run a single test, what I'll do is unmark this, and then mark up all of these. So all this down here is optimizations. This is for optimizing my strategy. So basically, my strategy will test the risk per trade from 1 through 20 in forms of 1. So it's going to go through 1 to 20 risk per trade, which is my variable up here, in cycles of 1, and give me the best output. And that's what a heat map will do. And then with all these variations, I will end up getting the best result out of right here, 10,000 tries. So this max tries is 10,000 tries. This only takes 10,000 back tests, because you can imagine there's a lot of variables, right? There's a lot of back tests to go through. There's probably over 100,000 just in this bunch. So me shortening the span down to 10,000 brings it, it reduces it and the time to take the back test. So reducing the overall time to take the back test, allowing me to obviously take more back tests, because I don't have all the time in the world, right? Time is precious. This prints the optimized stats, and then this prints the heat map. I think, no, this prints the chart, so we'll go over the chart as well. This is more like I'm getting you familiar with the code that I use than it is me going through my process, which is fine, because this is YouTube at the end of the day. But that means I need to restart this, and then we'll get back to it once you guys are familiar with the code, I guess. Yeah, so when I want to run a single test, which is good for when you want to see if the strategy just works, what I would do is mark out all this, and mark out means basically if this hashtag gets put in front of it. So the code is not going to read, or the script, but however the computer works, it's not going to read what's got a hashtag in front of it, because it's marked out, it's commented out, right? So putting a hashtag just allows you to take notes inside of your script, and you can see how this is used. So this usually is used to put code into English, and explain code, right? So load and prepare data. That's what this does. Run backtest. That's what this does, right? So it's just to put English in your code and I guess describe the more difficult parts for somebody who is new or even experts mark out their code sometimes. But good code doesn't need to be marked out because good code should be simple enough for anyone, any beginner to read. Um, Not sure why I heard that, but I heard that somewhere. Don't quote me. We're gonna save this. I don't know what changes I made, but there's a white dot. When I see a white dot, I save it. Because I lost progress not saving something, so I'm just like I have to save it. PTSD is real. PTSD is real. Anyways, let's play around with this. So let's start this back up. Actually, I restart this. No, you're kidding. That's something I gotta fix. That's annoying, bro. This is the third time y'all see me do this. Lock in. Boom. Locked in. See what happens when you lock in? You get shit done. Alright. This is way too long, bro. Alright, we just need the timer and the progress bar. It's not important. We already know what it is. So play around backtest. So let's do it. I do like to have a second screen up top, but because I can't record it, I have it off for RAM. Um, Sucks, but gotta do make it do, right? Gotta make it work. We'll turn this off as well. Or it's gonna still run, but that's fine. I'm just gonna start closing things that I'm not using. Just so we can get as much RAM as possible to play around. We need this open as well. I guess it'll open on its own. Let's play this. I think this is a single back test. Yep, so what we have is I'm passing in self.data.open. So this is open price, high price, low price, close price. And we're getting the last two bars, I believe. Let's see, it's in here. That's the back test. And you can see it didn't take any trades. So something's up with it because the last time I tried it, it did take trades. Just to explain the -2 though, because I forgot myself. -2, right here. -1 and 2 used for real time or recent. -2 refers to the second most recent closing price, the candle just before the last one. Yes, so that's why I use it. Candle just before the last one. So if candle close is smaller than open, then self.sell. So we short with size 5. I think this is short. That's something I have to refer to docs for because what are the docs called? Bear with me as I pull this up. Backtesting, not backtesting. So if we look, self.sell, I don't know if this actually is shorting or selling, like the position. I guess I could ask AI. It saves time, but I could literally just ask AI. Self.sell, it doesn't close existing trade unless the backtest was run with exclusive orders true. The underlying price asset. Okay. Place a new short order and return it. I'm having trouble understanding this, so AI is getting to explain. I understand it a bit, but I want to be like, I want to have a firm grasp on it, right? Because I'm learning, right? That's what you want to do whenever you're learning something. You want to know everything of every little detail, because that's just how you like. That's how you got to do it. That's the right way to do it. What was I asking? Is in backtesting.py is self.cell size equals 5. I didn't have to give it size, but I wanted to give it as much context as possible. Is self.cell. Oh, you can't do that in fucking. I'm used to doing this, like highlighting something and then throwing quotes over it. Fucking deleted it. That in backtesting.py is self.cell. Um, I don't need quotes. Is self.cell forwarding a position, a new position, or closing a existing position? This is really all I need to know. I just like referring back to docs because it's like, you know, this is where like the source of the information is from. This is an abbreviation. I think I used that wrong, but this is just basically summarized from ChatGPT's perspective. Like, what is my perspective, right? So I want to go to the source a lot of times. But it's good to have ChatGPT, of course. This is an amazing tool. This is an amazing tool. That's all it is. In backtesting.py, calling self.cell size equals 5 can either short a new position or close an existing position, depending on the current position state. Here's how it works. If you have an existing long position, self.cell reduces it or fully closes that position. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. If you have no existing positions or are already short, self.cell initiates or adds to a short position. Okay. You can use it either way. To determine its effect, check your current position size using self.position size. If it's position long, self.cell closes the long. If it's 0 or negative, it initiates or adds to a short. I like this. So this is good information to have. Right. So the problem probably isn't in our self.cell, but we need more conditions. Before this video, I had if C or if close. This is killing me. If close, open. Why is open highlighted like that, bro? I don't like how open's highlighted. I don't think that's a good thing. Okay. OPN works. I don't know why that's highlighted. If close is smaller than open, then self.cell. So pretty much what I'm trying to do here is I want to explain this. So pretty much just playing around with open, high, low, and close data. So numbers. So the numbers, I hope you already know, make up a candlestick, right? So the visualization of open, high, low, and close is a candlestick. This is the open. This is the low. This is the close. This is the high, right? I know I did it backwards. I don't care. Open, high, low, close. The candlestick is those numbers. So that's pretty much it. So what I'm trying to do here in the script is Bro, distractions. My bad, yo. I might have to cut this out. All right. I'm back. So yeah, let's see, what was I going over? Open, high, low, close. That's a candlestick. So what I'm trying to do in the script is, in this strategy, is I just want to see what happens if our close price is smaller than our open price. I just realized what this means. See, we're referring to the same candle. So I'm referring to if close on this candle and the open on this candle. I meant to be referring to the next candle. So I wanted to do if the close on this candle was less than the open on the previous candle, which means if the, how do I describe this? Close of this is right here, right? The open of the last candle is right here. So that means this candle has engulfed this candle. Fair, or what am I saying? Fair value gap. We're not getting into that right now. But this candle's pretty much engulfed it. And I hate to use that word because that's the fucking industry pattern that you know to use as a trader, engulfing. But this candle's bigger than this candle. And that's all I want to see is what candle is taking over, basically. And it doesn't have to be over the high or the entire candle, actually. I just want it to be over the close. Just want to see if it closes bullish. You know what I mean? Like if this candle closes bullish, and then this one closes bullish afterwards, and then this one closes afterwards. These are the, like, I want to take small riding moves with the same candles after. So if we're going on a green streak here, geez, if we're going on a green streak here, kind of like Hike and Ashy, we're just gonna keep buying and then sell on our next black candle. And it's a super simple thing. I just want to see if it works. But looking over, this is referring to the candle before. What we need is the candle after the before. So what we'll do is open one, high one, low one, close one. If close one, close two, or open two. Is it open two? We're gonna have to go back to that, but same thing. So we create the same variables, and then we go, instead of calling this candle, we call this candle, and this is, so one is gonna be, so say we're here. -1 is going to be referring to, I'm pretty sure the candle we're on. So to double check and make sure I'm not using corrupt information, Self.data close 1. We're not using 1, we're using -1 right here. Refers to the most recent closing price, so the last candle. And that's pretty much what we always trade off of. Because anything ahead is um, future bias. So we don't want future bias. Right? We're not here to tell ourselves fairy tale. We're here to win. So -1 refers to this candle, while -2 refers to this candle. So what we want to do is if this candle, or if the new candle if the most recent candle, so close 2, is less than open 1. So if our closing price, which is around here, is greater than our open price here, or less than. This is a bit confusing now. So right here, what we're pretty much saying is, I'm going over this for myself because I'm lost, I'm confused. So I'm going over this for myself. If close 2 is this candle. Close 2 is also the most recent candle, so that's valid. That's valid. If close 2, valid. First candle needs to be 2. Next, close of this candle. Boom. This is our close. That was our close. Is less than our open, which is our last candle, less than our open. This is open. Self.sell. So short. And that's what it would execute right here. That's all I want in this strategy. And this is the correct way to do it. Before, what I had was, it was wrong, right? Because I was referring the same candle, which is why it wasn't working. So let's see if it works. Still doesn't work. So let's see if I add another one. So if close 2 is greater than open 1, and this makes sense now, because watch, you're gonna see self.buy. I already know what's gonna happen. Equals 5. So when I run this, see if I'm right, because this is opposite of this, right? Remember, this just sells. And what I did also, I had self.sell on 1. So it's going to sell 5, or one of these 5s every time this buys. So the self.buy works, but the self.sell doesn't work. We're going to see that. Meaning we don't take shorts, we only take longs. And we close multiple positions of the long, which is probably most likely why we only take longs. Because this ends up overtaking, like data-wise, this overtakes, and then this just continues to sell. See? This is the type of data I had in the first place. Now, shit ton of strategy, candles, because we're testing like a year of our data, which is so unnecessary. What am I doing that for? But another thing that confuses me, like, look at this, 5% down the board, and this is just going up, right? Because they're winning, right? The stock is winning. Whatever I'm using, I don't know what this is. It's going up. So why isn't my equity? Like, it shows here, but it doesn't show here. It's very confusing to me. This is my data. Let's close this. It's gonna get glitchy. Now let's put this at 5 and see what happens. Put this at 5, and let's also change the data because we don't need that much data. Oh, GBP USD. Maybe that's why. I don't really backtest Forex like that. So maybe we need to change this. So let's change it. I want to zoom out here. Forget. I gotta zoom in because y'all can barely see it. All right, that's too much. Data. Where's my data? Text file. Yeah, right here. Data paths. And let's do. I don't have indices. I only have US30 in here. I guess we can do US30. I never formed a relationship with US30, bro. Like I never really fucked with it like that. I always was Nasdaq or SPY. Let's do. We'll just do it. Bro. Backtest script. Import our data, and then looks good. And for time, we're gonna do just a month, bro. This is 15-minute data. We don't need a lot. A month and a half. A month and some change. Let's do it. No optimizations. Much faster. Okay. No trades. Let's see why. So this is not enough time to learn or play around with price. Is it because of this? Is it because of size? It was because of size, which is very weird. Because you can look. What a weird strategy. I guess if that's what you want to call it, but pretty much we're buying here. And then we sell one here. This is a weird strategy, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of funky. I kind of like it. Problem is, can I get this to work? Problem. I guess the question is, can I get this to work? You can see, so we shorted here. Would we go long here? There's no stop loss. There's no take profit. There's nothing. Let's try adding that. So I'm not really shooting for a good strategy right now. I'm just playing around. Stop loss. How do we calculate stop loss, bro? We don't need a stop loss on sells, on shorts. Stop loss for buys. I guess you don't really need stop losses either. Or we can make this weird and put stop loss at the previous candle. So 2. So we're referring to 1. This is, look at this. This should be 1, bro. I'm not going to change them, but this should be 1. This should be 2. What is it, high 2? Just because it's just confusing. This is the most recent candle, so we're gonna put our stop loss to one of these, and it's gonna be so this is our buying. So we want to put it on the low. Stop loss equals low. I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know. We're gonna see. interesting. This is interesting. Obviously not efficient. I'm just playing around with it. See if anything comes up. One thing I don't like is how small the positioning is. Let's double. I don't think this works. Let's see if it makes any change. That's one thing that's hard to judge is how is this going to look with leverage if you use leverage. I don't want to use leverage, but if I have to, I will, right? Because I need to be able to trade the instruments I want to trade, right? I need to be able to trade NASDAQ and crypto and everything else. We need to be flexible. But this obviously doesn't work. So I think we're going to take a pivot and jump straight into developing. Just because I already have a strategy in mind. So I want to jump straight into developing, but I'm not sure that's a good idea. So let's do this. If close 2 is less or greater than open 1. Let's make this more complex. We'll still refer to this. I'm going to clean it up. So instead of 1, 2, instead of 2 or 1. Okay. That works. So now that's cleaned up. Let's change this. So 1, 2, just for so we don't get more confused. I want to bring this back to 5 and take out the stop loss for now. I just want to create a simple buying function. So I just wanted to buy, not function, rule, simple buying rule. So I want to buy on fair value gaps because who doesn't love ICT concepts, right? And it's a great example of price action. So to be able to code something, you need to be able to define it. So let's define a fair value gap. So fair value gap is from this candle's low to this candle's high. This gap is a fair value gap. If you don't already know, go on fucking YouTube, search fair value gap. You'll get tons and tons of information. But this is a fair value gap, right? It's basic. It's a basic price action pattern. There's an imbalance in price. There's a gap right here. And I just want to create this and here. That's all I want to do. So let's keep it simple for now. Let's not implement anything complex, because I can really go deep on the strategies and throw a bunch of things in here, but let's chill. So close one greater than negative, open two. So there's another thing here. This is a 3 candle pattern. So I need to define this explaining 3 candles. So how do I refer 3 candles? Because we know this candle 1 is the candle that we're currently on. So example, if we're on this candle, this is candle 1. Candle 2 is our last candle. How do we refer to that 3rd candle? I don't think we can. I'm gonna find out. Because we already used to. First closing price. So if we use the first closing price, the very first candle, to replace our -1, historical reference, does it give a use case of 0 or 1? Historical or an initialization process purpose. Used for real-time or recent price action. Used for historical or initialization purposes. What is this? What does this mean? In programming, initialization refers to assigning an initial value to a variable, object, or system component before it's used, ensuring they have defined your starting state. Defines initial state, so like the initial start, ensuring they have meaningful value or configuration when they're first used. Avoids undefined behavior. Initialize. Oh, so that must mean it looks at the entire data set. Used for historical data or initialization purposes. When referring to, oh, come on, bro. What's up there? How can I add time to my strategy? It's funny. I just delete everything, bro. That's annoying. What the fuck? Where did this come from? Where did I even type, dog? See what it says. So I said when referring to 0 and next for making custom buy signal, is that cheating by bringing in look ahead bias? Then I gave it the definition or the use case that it gave me. Yes, using in the next method strategy to buy signal method of a strategy to make a buy or sell decision would introduce look ahead bias and is considered cheating. So we can't refer to that candle. Can we use, okay, boom, -3. So what I was trying to do was replace -1, which is this candle, with 0, and pretty much just push back the, I fucking hate magnets. They're good when you need them. When you don't, they're useless, bro. Introduce it. I don't even remember what I was talking about, dog. What I was trying to get at was that instead of using -1 to define our primary candle, our current candle, we can use 0. But as we learned, 0 is cheating, and that's not what we're here to do. We're not going to cheat ourselves. So we need to refer to -1, -2, and -3, right? Yes. So we refer to -3. So we just add another candle on the back end instead of moving or shifting the data down this way, if that makes sense. So let's write out -3 variables. So now we have -3 variables to work with, and we can create our own custom 3-candle pattern. From my understanding, that's what we can do. Until I'm proven wrong, this is what I'm here to do. Brainstorm strats. That's pretty much what I'm doing. So we are on track with our progress tracker, or yeah, I don't remember. Anyways, bro, can I take a screenshot into BSC? Would be interesting. I could do this. Download. Go to downloads. I'll bring this up here. And then come over here. Do one of these. Minimize this. Full tab this. Have this on the side for when I need to reference a fair value gap. And then go into Zen mode, which looks better like this. Throw this down here. Sick. Now, defining fair value gap. So fair value gap is pretty much we start at candle 3. So candle 3. So candle 3 low is what that is. So if the low of candle 3 is, say, greater than the high of candle 1. So high 3. No, high 1. So if candle 3's low is greater than the high of 1 and the close of 2, candle 2 is greater than or less than. So if the low is greater than, now we want the close of 2 greater than the low of low of 3. So let's go over this. So the low of 3, so this candle, is greater than the high of 1. So this candle. True. So good. That's good. And because there's a second part, and close 2, so this candle in the middle, is greater than low of 3, right? Because without candle 2, there's no gap in there, right? We need this expansion. So boom, that's fair value gap. Self dot sell, because this is a bearish fair value gap. Break the bullish. So the bullish is just the opposite, I assume. This is bearish, buddy. So if low, actually, I think we're switching lows and highs here. Um, okay. Yeah, so I think we switch instead of low, we use high, and instead of high, we use low. I think we need to flip this. So we need to get a bullish for rally up in here. So I can go through the same process. I know there's somebody out there that has already coded this. Okay. I understand. I don't care. I want to learn this shit like with my brain, bro. I want this to be done through experience. I don't want to just grab it easy, bro. I'm not here to grab shit easy. I want to work for it. This is fun. I love this process. I love it. I'm not here to just grab code and then just, nah. I want to learn too. So let's go back to trading view and get one of these. So let's go here and just replace it, the highlight, the line. That works. It's big, so it's easy to see. Download. Then we're gonna grab that and put it in. That's what she said. Um, Downloads. Boom. Back into Zen. Tuck this away. I don't think we were that zoomed in. Holy shit. But this is in the way right now. Alright, my fault. So if the high, this is our third candle. So you can see it does flip. That's a high now. So if the high is less than, this also flips. The low of candle one and is it still closed? Yep, still closed. Still close of two. So the close of this candle. We just need to make sure that this bar is over this. So I think this is hold on, is this flip like that? That's weird. The close of two, actually that makes sense, is greater than the close. See, I'm getting confused because there's no wick. I was gonna say close. It's the high. High of three. There's no wick, so I was getting confused. So and let's switch this because this order seems to make more sense, right? You buy before you sell, so it just seems to make sense to me in this order. And let's see if this goes through. So let's see if it identifies a fair value index error. -3 is out of bounds. This is the problem I had. So I've done something like this in the past, and this is the problem I had. This is why I didn't think we could use -3. We can't refer to that candle. At least not the way I know it. So this is where we switch to AI. Because I don't know any other solution for that. Just give it this. It's gonna know what to do from here because, well, we don't need this. It has the script, right? It has the script right here, so we can read all this, and all I gotta do is give it the error. So let's pass that in. Size of the data is only 2, so attempting to access -3 results in an out-of-bounds error. You need to ensure that there is at least 3 data points before accessing -3. Add a check at the beginning of the next method to verify the length of the data. What do you mean? Why are we verifying? I don't need to verify if there's enough data. There is enough data. I think we just need to save that. So I don't think we need the length of the data here. I already know there's enough data. Correct me. Store the data of a list would be crazy. Store the data of the candle, that would be -3, so that we can refer back to it later and use it in the next. You're correct that if you already know there's enough data, you don't need to check the length of the data. Instead, the issue arises because the next function processes data incrementally. Okay. 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 So here's the thing. To address this, you can store required candle, open 3333, in a variable or list during each call to the next. This way you can refer back to it later without relying on shifting data indices. Here's how you can modify the code. Instead of reusing the data, I think to keep it simpler, we can just put this in the init. Close or get rid of all this. And then just use self. Because if it's not available in the next function, is it available in the init? Because the init goes through all the data. You know what I'm saying? But that's another problem. If it goes through all the data at once, there is no candle 1, there is no candle 2 or 3. It's okay, this isn't going to work either. Because there's thousands of candles, there's no candle 1. Like, it doesn't update, you know? So this doesn't work. So I'm not going to waste my time. We're going to have to store it. I was trying my hardest to come up with a solution myself and not use the updated code. Like, I didn't want to even preview it. But yeah, I don't know how to make a list. So we're going to use this code here that AI has given me and move forward with it. So it changes all this for me. Yeah, I approve. Still have length in there. I approve. I approve of these changes, my friend. Thank you very much. All right, let's see if this runs. Um, so if I3, so keeps the logic. It just adds in the list thing. So let's go over the list. So there's no learning if you don't go over it. So self.past candles. This is where we're saving the data in here. That's what I think is going on, right? This is my interpretation. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I am wrong. But from my understanding, I think we stored in here, and then we get the data from here. So in our next function, we're getting the data, but we're restoring it in the init function, which is interesting. Current candle equals, boom. So this is our current candle, which is correct, -1. I'm not sure why we're referring to it like this. Okay, this is a dictionary. That's why. This is a dictionary. So it's defining these multiple variables in one. That's what that's doing. Self.pass candles.append. Current candle. I don't know what the .append does. I don't want to use this AI for this though. Is there a way to refer back to this? Okay. Let's just do this then. I don't even need to type it out. All right, Python. What Python am I using? 3.12.8. All right, let's go through it. So I need to find the API. Which is where? I think it's library reference, not APIs. Okay, let's not waste time here. Yeah, fuck that. So .append modifies the original list in place. It adds only one item at a time. If you append another list, the entire list is added as a single element, not merged. Interesting. My list.append, and then I guess this is okay. It's just a listing function, a function for list. Print my list. Prints. So instead of printing, what are we doing though? Are we just referring to it? So pass candles, yeah. Self.pass candles are equal to .append. So the list creation, I assume, and then current candle. So it goes to current candle for pass candles, which is weird. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. I have to be reading this wrong. All right, let's just move on to the analogies. Adding a number to a list, analogy. Imagine grocery list where you add one item at a time. So grocery list equals apples, bananas, whatever, etc. Grocery list.append. Add. So this is adding carrot. Okay. So it adds one thing at a time. So past candles.append current candle. Ah. And then within that list, we refer to -2, 3, and so on. I see. I see. Sick. If length self.pass candles 3. Return. So not enough data to proceed. Ensure we have at least 3 candles. So this just makes sure that we don't overstore the candles in there. So we don't have too much candles, like 100 fucking candles when we have to refer to every single one of them. We don't have to do that. We only need 3 candles. It's a 3 candle strategy, bro. We don't need 100, right? We don't need 1,000. We don't need everything. We only refer to 3 candles. Perfect. Retrieve the data for the candle at -3, -2, -1. This is self-explanatory. I don't think there's anything to go through in here. It's a variable retrieving the data for 3, 2, and so on. So basically just like what we were trying to do, but this time we actually have the data stored properly, hopefully. And then this is just the trading logic of the fair value gap. So sell when we have a bearish fair value gap and buy when we have a full bullish fair value gap. And then optional is the size of the stored candle to save memory. Ooh, okay, so this is interesting. I don't understand this one either. We're gonna run it. Enough talking. As expected. Let's do also, give the terminal so we can see the stats. And then, yeah. The conditions weren't met. So the conditions were definitely met. I know that for a fact. Problem is the conditions that we put in the code were not met because we don't know what we put in the code. So the problem is not the conditions. There's obviously fair value gaps everywhere. Problem is we didn't define it well enough in the code or simple enough. I don't know. The conditions for trades are as follows: bullish fair value gap. This is kind of triggering me. This is kind of triggering me, bro. The conditions were met. I'm just gonna ignore everything else. Bro, what am I trying to say? But the conditions were met. I give this images. Did I have to give it a position size? Probably do. I know we can do floats. Is that a float or is that an integer? What the fuck do I know, bro? Check current positions. There's no positions. It shows us that already. Verify commission and slippage. And slippage in a back test. What? Inspect the back test results. Yes, that's what I'm doing. That's precisely what I'm doing. Thank you. You've proved very useful after step 2. Run. Nothing. This is why I stopped trying with fair value gaps, bro. And custom indicators in general. It's not even really an indicator. This is just price action. The problem is I can't put this price action into code. I want to build trading backtesting strategies. I knew I botched that. I want to build in backtesting.py purely off of price action and time. But I'm having trouble. I don't know what else to say here. But I'm having trouble. That's a great approach if you want to build a strategy in backtesting.py based purely off of price action. In time, I can help you with structure. It's the problem, bro. I can't. What example did you give me? Self.data close 1 and 2. Current candle. Like, this is the type of shit I was trying to do. I couldn't get it to work. A bullish engulfing pattern. I guess this is not the type of shit I was trying to do. This is different. This is more strict than what I had. Would this even work? Def next. Wait, is he defining the indicator? Okay. That's interesting though. You're defining the indicator. And this isn't even definite. It's just a function, bro. Runs every new candle. I like this. We're gonna run with this. We're gonna run with this. Create a new function. Why didn't I think of that? 90 minutes. So, I mean, yeah. It's supposed to be beeping every time it goes off, but I don't hear anything. Maybe you guys do. Um, yeah, back to the strategy. What was I? Okay. We're gonna run with what AI just gave us. So all this, the fuck out my face. We can keep it. We're just gonna pass it just for structure. I like keeping structure, right? So pass that, bro. Can't type. Um, what am I doing? Oh, let's do this. I should have kept the. I guess I can go back. Should I pass self? Self.data dot. I need the patterns. Pretty sure it was Um, all right. So if self.data.close, so we'll use self.data instead of making separate variables. Because variables just get out of hand. Self.data gets out of hand too, I'm not gonna lie. But we'll be fine. Let's do this again. Self.data. So if self.data dots low of candle 3, because now we can refer to 3. I assume. Because we're referring to 3 here. He was referring to 3. Why do I say he? I really put gender on ChatGPT. That's how you know I use it too much. I use this AI shit too much, bro. But we refer to candles just the same way. And yep, he does. They do pass self. So def for value gap self if self.data.low. -3 was or is greater than self data dot low or 1 -1 candle 1 and I noticed that as well. So keep this and up here and then kind of do this. Maybe a tab as well. I don't know. Looks weird. I don't come from a coding background. So like coding is not my thing, bro. Coding is not my thing. Self.data dot close of -2 is greater than self.data dot can do low. I think it's low. Or that could be another thing. I could be defining this weird. We're very complex. Because we're going back to the low here. We can just make it greater than this. But then again, there are fair value gaps with no wick. Yeah. So we'll use this low of candle 3. How do I do this? So yes, we have a separate function. Return, not if, return. So what does this def next? If not, self dot should trade. Skip trades outside the session. If self dot bullish and golfing self dot buy. So you just say if self, you're good to go pretty much. But why is this? It's not an if, it's a return. A return. Then we put it in parentheses. Nope. Put it in parentheses and it should be good. So the return. That's a fair value gap. This is a bearish fair value gap. We're not gonna do. We could do the bullish. Let's just do it, bro. much we're just gonna flip it. So we got bearish fair value gap, bullish fair value gap. Return self.data. Let's switch the picture so we're not getting confused. So self.data high of the third candle. So high. Everything should be capitalized, but I'll fix it in a second. Greater than, or nope, we need it to be less than self.data.low of the first candle. That's good. Self.data.close of, or close of the second candle should be greater than the low of the third candle. That's good. And then, so yeah, get rid of this. I never tried something like this before. And again, I'm just learning. I'm not actually trying to be serious and create like a crazy profitable strategy right now. I'm just learning. So def next self. What am I writing? If what am I doing wrong? Not defined. Right there. Oh, self. I'm like, it's right there, bro. Bearish fair value up. Self.self. And size. So let me go 5 in here. And 1 in here. Why did I not put size? There we go. So if bullish fair value gap, self.buy, size 5. If bearish fair value gap, then sell. I didn't know we can throw functions in here like this. Well, I knew, but I didn't really utilize it. But if this works, it's gonna be nice. Okay. Interesting. This is the part of coding that just is so hard, bro. Like, especially, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, bro. My only tool is AI, like, for real. There's a Discord community, but I don't really, they're not doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm doing different things. Like, I'm trying to create custom indicators, bro. They're just, like, the community in Discord is generally just algo trading and quant trading with cryptocurrency using indicators. I'm not trying to use indicators. I want to do this. So it's tough. Pretty sure there's YouTube videos. Anyways, see what AI says. The type error can't instantiate. That's an interesting word. That's what the fuck it is. What the fuck is that, bro? Instantiate. In computer science, in computer science, an instance is an occurrence of a software element that is based on a type definition. When created, an occurrence is said to have been instant. Yeah, you're using the same word to define, like, that's the stupidest definition I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Instantiate.
Instantiate. Thank you. Represents or as by an instant. Universal abstract concept. Have an instant. Be represented by an actual example. That's interesting. Where's okay? Occurs because the strategy class is. Do you have a fix? Add an empty init method. So simply adding the init with a pass. Are you kidding me? Do we need this in here? Is this why? Let me find out. Wow, you do need an init in there. It takes trades. Beautiful. So we have a shit ton of trades. And it's always trading. Interesting. This this looks weird. There's no fair value gap in here. Nothing should be happening. Put the size to 5. Nothing. See? So we take that self.buy, but we don't take the sell. So let's mark that out and see if it just buys. No. Do we need the size 1? It's so weird. Let's get a new one. I like fresh chats. Like it's so nothing in the old chat is coming up. I can't be the only one like that, bro. Why is my I use backtesting QR. I have the copy when I have size 5. Why when I use backtesting PY in Python, why is my strategy not taking trades when I have my size example dot dot dot, but when I have it set up like this, it takes trades just fine. Size equals 1. I know there's a way easier way to say this. Guess what? I don't give a fuck. Margin constraints or position size limitations. Okay. So what if I do 1 and 1? If that's a potential problem, what if I just do small size for both? 1 and 1. That is weird. That's so weird. Okay. Every single candle. Bro. I think I broke backtesting PY, bro. I broke it. I broke the script. I've never seen this. What is this? This is why I just stick with the indicators that are already made, bro. I need to study up on this for real. There's no way. I have $100,000 in there. What happens when I just throw a mill? There's no way it's the money, right? $96. Weird how that changed that, but it still looks the same. Yeah. Let's try 5 and 5. Okay, I mean, it's taking, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. I'm mad hungry, bro. But I'm not sure what to do here. This video was supposed to be about fair value gaps. Not only that, like I wanted to figure this out today, but I keep getting dead ends like this. Like this is a dead end. I don't know what to do from here. Because if I keep going with AI, I'm just gonna go in circles, bro. I've been there, I've done that. I've spent like very, very long sessions just going in circles with AI, trying to figure out why the code isn't working. And that's just so annoying, bro. The best option I have is to wait on this. Keep learning about coding and strategy making without getting too complex right away. It sucks because I want to jump straight into this. Like, I want to learn this. I want to know this. And I don't want to just copy it. Like, I guarantee you. Let's see it. Guarantee you I can find it in here. Fair value gap algo. Find secrets to fair value gaps. Fair value gap. Um, Boom. Found one. I'm gonna have to study up on this.
The look back
I don't
period.
think I can watch this. Will I get copyrighted for this? What a fucking mindfuck. What a mindfuck. Will I get copyrighted for watching a YouTube video in a YouTube video? Yes. Thank you. That sucks. Let's see if there's any workarounds or solutions. Depends on how you use a YouTube video and your own content. Here are the key factors. If you comment on, critique, or transform. I'm learning. No. Sir. Without adding much. I care about the little things, bro. Alright, I'm pretty sure I'm fine. I see this all the time on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I'm fucking fine. Um, yeah, let's watch this. I'm fucking hungry, that's the problem, dog. I'm hungry as shit.
Hi, today we will go through the fair value gap indicator and how to automate it in Python so we can detect the so-called gaps automatically and include them straight into our algorithmic trading strategies. If you are interested in the coding part, you can also download the Python code for free from the link in the description of this video. So, how to identify a fair value gap on a chart? A fair value gap pattern is formed
Testing.
by 3 consecutive candles. Candle 1 represents the initial move of the price. It sets a starting high and low values. Candle 2 is the momentum candle. It's usually a strong push in one direction, leaving a gap. And candle 3, which is the reference candle, it doesn't fully close the gap from candle 1. So its minimum is still above the max
So we already defined our gap. I just want to see how can I identify. We already know what a gap is.
in Python. So this is our Jupyter notebook file. Importing pandas, reading
How do you do blocks like that? I didn't know you can do blocks of script. That's very useful. How do we do that? Blocks of code, I mean. Hmm. It just said use enter. That's not what I'm talking about. That is not what I'm talking about. Thank you for wasting my time.
from a CSV file the Euro US dollar candlesticks 1 hour time frame from 2020 up to 2023. So this should be enough to demonstrate if the algorithm is working. I'm applying some quick cleaning, removing rows or candles where the volume is equal to 0, and then we're adjusting the format of the GMT time column in case you need to use it. And this is where the magic happens actually. I'm defining a new function named detect.
Okay. I'm like a kid at the candy store right now. What I can do is take this function and throw it in for detecting.
Underscore fair value gap. It takes a data frame, it takes a look back period of 10 candles by default, and a body multiplier of 1.5. We're going to explain these parameters within the function. First,
Body multiplier. Look back period. Where did we grab that from? Where are they getting passed in from is the real question.
in
Did I
Python.
miss something?
So should be enough
I'm just gonna play it.
to demonstrate if the algorithm happens actually. I'm defining a new function named detect underscore fair value gap. It takes a data frame, it takes a look back period of 10 candles by default, and a body multiplier of 1.5. We're going to explain these parameters within the function. First of all, we're going to compute the signal if we have a fair value gap in a list. So this is where I'm going to append the fair value gap occurrences, and then we're going to add these as a new column into the data frame. But for the first 2 candles, we can't compute such a fair value gap indicator because we don't have any previous candles. Remember that you need at least 3 consecutive candles to compute whether you have a fair value gap happening. So this is why the first 2 values are none for the first 2 candles. Then we're going to check for the rest of the candles or the rest of the rows in the data frame. So for I in range, starting index 2, remember it's 0 base. So index 2, this is the 3rd candle in the data frame up to the length of the data frame. And we're going to just extract the first high. So that's the high of the first candle in the pattern. This is why the index is I minus 2. Then I minus 2 again, so that's the first low. The middle open is I minus 1, the opening price of I minus 1. The middle close is the closing price of I minus 1. Then the third low and the third high are the low and the high of the current candle, so that's index I. Remember, the index is coming from the for loop, ranging from 2 up to the length of the data frame. Then we're going to need to compute the average absolute body size over the look back period. The look back by default is the previous 10 candles. Why do we need this? So
I like this. He's calculating the body size of the candle. So he's gonna explain it, but pretty much the size from here to here, like the size of the gap. I like this. I was never thinking about calculating that, but the reason I like this is because there's a lot of times where you want to enter based off a fib in this fair value gap, right? You can use a fib here, or just keep it simple. Enter on a fair value gap's midpoint, and you can calculate that there. So you can make an entry based on the middle of this fair value gap. That's handy.
So we need the average body of a candle over the last 10 candles. For example, it can be 5 or 15 candles, but for now, by default, it's 10 candles. In order to compare this with the middle candle, which is causing the breakout or the gap. So this is the middle candle, and this is the body of the middle candle. I need this body to be above a certain threshold. Otherwise, I will end up with an infinite number or a huge number of signals that are meaningless, because simply this is like a fair value gap that's happening, but it's happening on very small movement, on very small candles, and on very small volumes as well. And it's not going to affect my strategy much. So in order to have those powerful signals and for this fair value gap to be significant, we need the middle candle's body to be above a certain threshold. And this is
That
how
makes
I'm
sense.
computing the threshold.
That
I'm
makes
computing
sense.
the average body size of the previous, let's say, 10 candles, and then I'm setting a threshold that's body multiplier
So he's not
times
okay.
the average body of the.
So pretty much he's not using, like, this is a way for him to filter out certain fair value gaps. So he's not using every single fair value gap. That's why there's a body multiplier, which makes sense now.
The last 10 candles. In other words, this condition appears here. So if we have the third low above the first high, and then the middle body above the average body size times the body multiplier, in this example, it's 1.5 times the average body of the last 10 candles. So if the current or the middle body is above this quantity, then this fair value gap candle is accepted. This pattern is accepted. And this should be applied for both the bullish and the bearish fair value gap patterns. Because if you read online the description of the fair value gap pattern, they always mention the sentence that the middle candle, or the candle where the fair value gap is happening, should be a strong movement candle. And this is one condition numerically, or one way to
so that this is your expansion candle, like I referred to earlier. This is the candle that expands, displaces, however you want to say it. But this is good.
The fair value gap is happening should be a strong movement candle.
Wait, did he give us the code? I realize I'm watching a video for the information and I forgot what I came here for, which was the code. Where's the code? Am I gonna have to do this myself? Discount vouchers. I think it's this. That's why he had blocks, because he was in Google Colab. I'm like, is he doing that in VSC? Because if you could put blocks in VSC, it'd be a cool way to organize your code. But yeah, it's like we got the code, just like that. See that? I'm gonna use it. Whatever.
Candle. And this is one condition numerically,
If
or one
it works,
way
it works,
to define what a strong movement candle can be in terms of numbers. So the average body size is computed here. Then we have a condition. If the average body size is equal to 0, so it's not positive, then we give it a synthetic value of 0.001. Then the middle candle's body size is the absolute difference between the middle close and the middle open values. And then we have the conditions for a bullish fair value gap and the conditions for a bearish fair value gap. And whenever we have these conditions verified, we're going to append to the list of fair value gap, which was defined here, the tuple named bullish, then the first high value, the third high value, and the index I, in case we need these values to be used later on in our strategy. But we're going to keep these in memory somewhere in our list. If we don't have any conditions, any patterns, we're going to append none to the list. And this is it. This is the function that's going to detect the fair value gap. I'm going to execute the function, the cell, and then we can define a new column, data frame, fair value gap, for example. We call the function, and we're going to run it. It shouldn't take too long. And this is how our data frame looks like now. So we have the GMT time, open, high, low, close, and the volume columns. And now
there's one. Okay, pandas. The thing is, I have to add this. So, does he keep? What is he talking about here? You gonna show us? All right. If you have no patience, I want to get straight to work. I have zero patience. This shit's on 1.5 speed, and I'm trying to get straight to work. Like, I didn't even finish the video.
now we have this new column fair value gap, wherever we don't have any fair value gaps happening, so we have none. And when we have a fair value gap confirmed, like a pattern, so that's the third candle in the fair value gap pattern. On the third candles row, we have this tuple. So we have a bullish happening with the low. So that's the first high, then the third low, this one. And then we have the index, which is 2. So as you can see, we can verify the index here. And this one is another one. It's a bearish one, bullish one. So we have these fair value gaps happening. If you need to be more selective, you can increase this value. So the condition on 1.5. So for example, the body multiplier should be 2, for example, in order to increase the minimum allowed threshold size of the middle candle's body.
That's crazy. Run that back.
What data frame looks like now. So we have the GMT time, open, high, low, close, and the volume columns. And now we have this new column fair value gap, wherever we don't have any fair value gaps happening. So we have none. And when we have a fair value gap confirmed, like a pattern. So that's the third candle in the fair value gap pattern. On the third candles row, we have this tuple. So we have a bullish happening with the low. So that's
the third candle. So that means these are the 3 candles that have fit that condition. So you can see here we have consecutive fair value gaps. That's interesting. This is actually very interesting because you can see there are times where the fair value gap is going to go on a streak, right? Bullish, bullish, bullish. You can capitalize on this movement and then close when it stops creating fair value gaps. It's interesting. And then like here you have bearish and then you have none and then you have bullish. Like if you see this pattern, you can identify this as a reversal. It's going bearish and then bullish instead of bullish, bullish, bullish.
the first
Interesting.
high.
I'm just brainstorming.
Then the third low, this one. And then we have the index, which is 2. So as you can see, you can verify the index here. And this one is another one. It's a bearish one, bullish one. So we have these fair value gaps happening. If you need to be more selective, you can increase this value. So the condition on 1.5. So for example, the body multiplier should be 2, for example, in order to increase the minimum allowed threshold size of the middle candle's body. And here I've added a cell to visualize the signals on the chart. So as you can see, we have
So we're taking in not all fair value gaps. See that? This one's not counted here. And this one either. So for me, body multiplier might have to go small so I can capitalize on this. That a random TP at random. Like you can optimize TP and stop loss in accordance to. Oh my god, bro. I didn't even think of that. I can set parameters like this, right? Like the strategies I was just brainstorming. And then set a fixed stop loss and take profit. And optimize stop loss and take profit. And optimize entry parameters, like where are we entering on the fair value gap? Are we entering on the close of one, or are we entering when we retouch on one? You know what I'm saying? Like when we fill a fair value gap. The possibilities are endless.
A bearish fair value gap happening here. This is colored in red. Another bearish one happening here. This one is a bullish one. And this one is a bullish one. So I extended the length of these rectangles a bit to the right to see what's happening, see if really these areas are acting as support or resistance levels. And as you can see, sometimes it's true, actually. This price, for example, is going up here, then it's bouncing on this fair value gap area. Almost, it's crossing it, then reattempting to cross it.
It's filling it, brother. It's filling it.
In the up direction. Then once it goes up, it bounces exactly on this area before
filling it, brother. It's
continuing
filling
its
it. You're triggering
However,
me.
this is not entirely true for all these areas. But anyway, the algorithm is working well. So as you can see here, we have the pattern with 3 candles, and the highlighted area is in green here because it's a bullish signal. It's a bullish fair value gap. Is actually the difference between the low of the last candle and the high of the first candle, so I-2. As you may have noticed, this is just the indicator. We didn't apply any backtest. I wanted to keep this video as simple as possible to focus on the pattern itself. Let me know if...
Okay, so do you go over the backtest then? This is fairly new. This is 1 month ago. Automated risk management. Okay, this guy's cool. I'm already subscribed. I've watched a few of his videos. That's crazy. Okay. Not the first video I've watched. Fair value gap backtest. Yeah, let's go. 13 days ago. Look at that.
Today I'll show you how you can combine the fair value gap indicator with support and resistance key levels and automate breakouts detection in Python. Then we will backtest the strategy automatically using historical data and our Python code. The Python code I'll be using today for the backtest.
Historical data. He doesn't say what specific. He just says data.
Is available for download for free.
Looking at his process is, I can guarantee you, going to improve mine. So that's why we're watching these videos, because we're here to learn.
From the link in the description of this video. The fair value gap indicator was introduced in one of our previous videos. I will also leave a link to that video in case you are interested in the details of this indicator. In summary, we are looking for 3 consecutive candles showing an imbalance in price action, where a
slow it down a bit.
Gap forms between the first and the...
I already know. Tangent, we lost. Like we've been out. Right? This is why I do focus blocks, because I just go on tangents and just start focusing on other things, which is good for being creative, but and learning. But when you really need to focus on something, um, it's nice to put it down. But like honestly, I'm not really trying to focus on nothing specifically. I just want to learn. So I'm trying to figure out this. Done.
The third candles
There's no need for the timer. I just need one of these bad boys.
signaling potential areas where price may revisit. We will also distinguish between bullish and bearish fair value gaps forming in the up or down directions. But identifying fair value gaps alone is not enough for a robust trading strategy. To improve its reliability, we will combine this indicator with support and resistance levels to build a more structured approach to trading. Support and resistance zones help us filter out weak signals and focus on setups that align with key market structures. When a fair value gap forms near a strong support or resistance level, it can serve as a confirmation for potential trade entries. So, in brief, we will consider entering the market in the direction of the price breaking through a support or a resistance level and forming a fair value gap area simultaneously. The signals generated using our algorithm are marked using these purple points on the chart to visualize potential trades. These three examples are valid signals since the price breaks above the resistance, forming a fair value gap area at the same time. Obviously, the signal doesn't work perfectly all the time, and we can have false signals like it is the case for this trade. Here, the price reverted back, changing its direction. For the trade management, we will use a very simple approach, positioning the stop loss level at the low of the candle forming the fair value gap. So that's the long candle where also the breakout is happening. And that's in the long direction. Of course, in the short direction, we position the stop loss at the high of the candle, and the take perfectly all the time, and we can have false signals like it is the case for this trade. Here the price reverted back, changing its direction. For the trade management, we will use a very simple approach, positioning the stop loss level at the low of the candle forming the fair value gap. So that's the long candle where also the breakout is happening, and that's in the long direction. Of course, in the short direction, we position the stop loss
Breakout detection using fair value gap indicator. Okay.
at the high of the candle, and the take profit distance is computed using take profit stop loss ratio, typically between 1 and 2, for example. Once we have defined our strategy rules, now we can use the backtesting package in Python to test the historical performance of the strategy. This will allow us to evaluate its profitability, risk-reward ratio, and other key performance metrics before considering including it in a live trading system. This is our Jupyter notebook file. I'm loading the data. I'm using a CSV data file, the Euro US dollar, 1 hour time frame between 2020 and 2023. So we have the opening, high, low, closing price, and the volume, and the GMT time column. I'm going to load the data by running the cell again. Then I'm applying some cleaning in case we're going to need the GMT time column, just adjusting the format and casting it to a date time format. Then we're going to use this function to detect the fair value gap. I'm not going through the details since this was explained and introduced in a previous video. As I've mentioned, I will be leaving a link to our previous video if you want to focus on the details of this function. The data frame now looks like this. We have an additional column named fair value gap. So either we have none, we don't have any fair value gap
We just saw this.
pattern forming, or we have a fair value gap at this row, for example. In other words, these three candles are forming the pattern together. The column includes a tuple with the name if it's a bullish or a bearish pattern, the high of the first candle in the case of bullish, and the low of the third candle in the case of the bullish pattern, and the first low and the third high in the case of the bearish pattern. Then we have a visualization cell just to visualize these fair value gaps as we have done in the previous video. And now we're going to define a new function named detect key levels. So these are the support and resistance levels. It takes a data frame, the current candle index, number of back candles, so 50 by default. We're going to look 50 candles back and check where we have support and resistance levels in this candles window. And the test candles value is actually used to detect where we have support and resistance. In other words, I'm going to compare, imagine we have this candle, I'm going to compare this high of the candle to the highs of the 10 candles before it and the highs of the 10 candles after it.
That's interesting. You really thought about this strategy.
And if it is the maximum, if it's the highest point, and this is how I know that this candle is defining the level of a resistance or the highest point the price can reach within the previous 10 and the following 10 candles. You can change this window. Sometimes I take these three, so I test just comparing the middle candle with 3 candles before, 3 candles after. But here I'm looking for significant key levels, and this is why I increased this by default to 10. Similarly, if I want to check if we have a support level, I'm going to compare the minimum of the current candle.
The 10th candle's right here, so he's back about this much. Not that much. I didn't count that. But
to the minimums or the low values of the previous 10 candles and the following 10 candles. So in order to just make things clear here, we don't have a look-ahead bias because imagine I'm working on this candle. I'm not going to test this candle if this candle is a support or resistance because this will push me to look for the next 10 candles, so looking into the future. And that's not, in reality, that's not feasible. So if this is my last candle in reality, the only candles I can be testing for key levels are actually candles starting at I minus 10 and before that. Why?
right.
Because this candle, when I'm going to check if this candle, for example, is a support or a resistance candle, we're going to look for the left candles, but also on the right candles. And in reality, I need to have 10 candles in the future or on the right of the particular candle to be able to test it. So there's always this gap in the past where I can't do much. I will just have to watch these candles without being able to apply any tests on them. And this is mainly to avoid a look-ahead bias. The results will be appended into a dictionary. So I'm going to append the support levels into a list within the dictionary and the resistance levels into another.
That's super cool. I didn't know you can do that. You can create a list within a dictionary. That's so useful.
List within this key levels dictionary. And so the last testable candle is equal to the current candle minus test candles. Remember, these are the test candles. And this is what we've just explained in order to avoid a look-ahead bias. These two lines will ensure we have enough data. So our data frame obviously has to be greater than 60 candles. Otherwise, we can't use these numbers into our testing. Then we're going to iterate. Imagine I'm testing, let's say, the current candle of index 100. We're going to check for current candles, 100 minus back candles. So that's 100 minus 50. I'm looking 50 candles back up to the last testable candle. So that's 100 minus 10 in this case. And that's 90. So I'm testing between.
Is this in this code? I don't think it is. It's different. Well, this is the basics. I'm pretty sure I can make something work with this. This is the foundation.
Between indexes 50 up to 90 for the candle of index 100. And what I'm going to test is actually building this dictionary of support and resistance levels happening most recently in relation to the current candles index. So that's related to one candle. If I want to test if a candle is breaking a support or resistance level, I need to query these in the previous 50 candles. So we're going to define what we're calling a before and after candles. So the before candles are I minus test candles up to I, meaning these are the 10 candles on the left and on the right of a particular candle. And remember that we are iterating I over the candle minus back candles up to the last testable candle. And for each of these candles, we need to test if it's higher or lower than the before and after, or its before and after candles to test if it's a support or resistance level and to define these levels. And that's what we are doing here in these conditions. And we're going to append to our dictionary of results the index of the current high and the value of the high. So that's a small tuple with the index and the value of the high. Same thing for the support, but working with the lows. And at the end, we're going to return these key levels dictionary. Now, this function is called fill key levels. It takes the data frame and these parameters again, so the test candles and the back candles, and it's going to use or call the previously defined function, detect key levels, and it's going to fill it into the data frame. And now this is how the data frame will look like. We have the open, high, low, close, the volume column, the fair value gap column, and now we have an additional column named key levels. So either we don't have any key levels or we do have some support and resistance levels. In other words, this column for each candle, for each row, will have a dictionary of support and resistance levels if they are happening in the previous 50 candles window. And sometimes we don't have any support nor resistance levels. It's not very clear. And sometimes we only have support levels that are clearly occurring without any resistance, as you can see here. Now we can visualize the fair value gap and the key levels together using this cell with the function plot fair value gap and key levels. It takes the data frame, the starting index of the.
No. Duplicate. I need to see if this guy.
Hi, today I will show you how you can.
The thing I'm mostly fuck. The thing I'm mostly interested in is seeing what he uses to backtest. And okay, backtesting, perfect. He uses the same thing I use. So now this really validates his code. Now I really need to pay attention to this video. I was paying attention before, of course, but now I really need to like analyze this video because he uses the same thing. So, and he's using NumPy, which I struggle with NumPy all the time, which is a big problem. So
the plot, the end index,
let's turn up. Let's pay attention. Lock in.
and the extension here by default is 30. So that's how many future candles you want to extend the plot for the fair value gap and the support and resistance levels. And this is how it looks like. And now we have, this is a resistance level, this is a support level. It starts at some point and we're going to extend it in the future just to make things clearer, and it will be easier to visualize and see if these values or key levels are respected. And what we are aiming for as an example strategy today is detecting when a candle like this one breaks above a previous most recent resistance level, and it also forms a fair value gap at the same time. So these two things are happening simultaneously now.
This dude, I really fuck with this. Because these are highs and lows. I was having trouble defining highs and lows. See, this is why you gotta fucking go on YouTube every once in a while. Because go back to my older code. Pi extras. Fair value gap sweep. I don't remember how this performed. Is this optimized? Yes. See? What the fuck is this, bro? This is my result of trying to do what this guy's trying to do. This is my result, bro. Nothing. Blank. I try to use the same highs and the same fair value gap, and I couldn't get it to work. See, we have fair value gap because I was using signals. I was trying to use signals to generate buy and sell orders, but it wasn't working. I couldn't get it to place any strategy, any orders. I said, you know, I'm getting tired, bro. I'm starting to mumble and shit. This is great. I found what I needed to find. Now I just need to study it. I need to learn it. So
now for this candle, and we can see when this happens, the price is spiking up. It has a very strong up momentum. In the bearish direction, the same thing. I'm going to plot this as an example. So it's happening at 40, 400, and then 17,500, let's say. And if we plot this, it's at 17,486. It should be happening somewhere around here. So this candle right here is a bearish candle breaking below a support level. And it's also, we can see the red zone forming at this level. So it's also forming a bearish fair value gap. So we expect the price to retrace back, either to continue actually going down or to retrace back at this level or to this zone before continuing down. But in this case, as you can see, the price went way up and we would have been stopped by this strategy. Anyway, this is a strategy I've seen online using the fair value gap, and we've coded it. It's working well. We can visualize it. And now we can run a small backtest to show you how we can backtest it on real historical data. But before we do this, we need to detect the break signal. So I'm defining a new function named detect break signal. It takes the data frame and it's going to check if the current candle carries a fair value gap signal. And at the same time, the previous candle has crossed a key level in the expected direction. So it broke a key level somehow in the bearish or the bullish direction. Just another thing to keep in mind in order to avoid a look-ahead bias. We're not checking the candle that breaks. Actually, we're checking the last candle of a fair value gap candle, of a fair value gap pattern. And if this is a defined fair value gap, we check the previous candle. And this is where we test for the breakout. Because anyway, we need 3 consecutive candles to form a fair value gap, but also we check if the middle candle, so
I pause it to process the information, so my bad. That makes sense.
that's candle -1 if it's pushing and closing below the support level or pushing and closing above a resistance level. The function will return 3 values, either 0 for no pattern detection, no signal, 1 for a bearish.
See, so he's using signals as well. So he's using signals as well. Same thing I was trying to use, but I couldn't get to work, but he got it to work. This is great.
Breakout and 2 for a bullish breakout. And now we add the signal in our data frame, and this is how the data frame looks like. We have the columns that we have defined before, so the key levels, the fair value gap columns, and so on. And now we have also the break signal, either a bullish signal equal to 2 or a bearish signal equal to 1. And now we can overlay the signals on top of the key levels and the fair value gap zones. As you can see, these are the purple points happening here that are positioned below the candles if you have a bullish signal and above the candles if we have a bearish signal. So that's going to make it easier for us to spot where the signals are happening, where do we have a breakout. For example, this candle is breaking above the previous resistance level, and we have a fair value gap as well. So we just have to look for the previous candle in the pattern to check for the breakout, and the fair value gap is clearly happening here with this pattern. So also we have one right here, and this one is an excellent one because the price went straight up afterwards. This one is a fake signal, so the price went back down. In this cell, we are running the backtesting.py package to define the strategy. So I'm using a risk management approach here, taking into account the stop loss distance and so on, in order to risk 5% of the current account balance. Take profit stop loss ratio of 1.8 as a start, but we're going to optimize this. And then I'm defining the signal function. So if we have a bullish signal, and we don't have any open position currently on the market,
That is a
we're going
long
to check for the
class.
previous low, the current close, to define the stop loss position, stop loss price, the take profit that's obtained as the current close plus the take profit stop loss ratio times the stop loss distance. If the stop loss distance is less than 5 pips, we're going to skip this trade.
That's how he defines
Because we're
pips.
remember, we're using the low of the previous candle as a stop loss threshold, as a stop loss point. So if this is very close to the current open,
That's how he defines pips. E minus 4. Pip size. Exchange rate. So exchange rate minus 4.
opening price of the current trade, we don't need
I
to
don't know.
open the trade. It's not a very advantageous position for us. Then we have the risk amount, which is equal to the equity times the self-risk percentage. The sizing of the trade is going to depend on the stop loss distance and the risk amount. So this is how we're taking the risk management into account for this backtest. We can pass a buy position.
There's so much game in this.
Using the size in units and the stop loss and the take profit. This is exactly the logic, the opposite logic for the short position. And now we can define the backtest using the data frame of data, the strategy class that we have just defined right here. Cash, $10,000 as a starting account balance, a margin of 1/50. We're not using commissions as a first test. I'm just trying to test the whole setup if it's working. And now we can optimize the take profit stop loss ratio parameter using a grid search approach between 1 to 2.2 with a step of 0.1. And in order to maximize the returns percentage. Running this will provide us a 31% returns percentage, but don't be fooled by this number. If we look at the maximum drawdown, we have a minus 73%, and this is a huge. So regardless of the rest of these parameters for the backtest, I'm not going to waste your time on this.
That's a
As
lot
a
of
strategy,
drawdown.
as is on the hourly time frame, it's not a good strategy.
No.
The code is working well. You can experiment on this. And please do share ideas of trading strategies using fair value gaps if you have any in the comments section, because I'm willing to take these and test them in the next videos. For now, this is our first trial using the fair value gap.
This is great. I'm going to pick up on this guy's first trial and build off of it. For sure. So this video, I guess, will be an introduction to what's to come, because I'm definitely going to be building off of this. But I do need to end the video here. Yeah, I can't wait to build. I can't wait to build this. Make sure I save that. Where is it, bro? Oh. That's super interesting. Notebook. What? That's why. I've never seen this notebook in my life, bro. This is so cool. Alright. Got the code. We're going to be building off of this in the next video for sure. For sure. Alright. Y'all be safe out there. And Try to leave the cave. Because I need to leave the cave. Can't be in your room all day. All right, y'all.